I also welcome each one of you to this meeting of LMA Women Forum. And as written here, the theme is Ludhiana Cares. We all in the form of NGOs do care for the development and betterment of our city and the people in this city. There are people who are less fortunate than most of us, and there are people who have not what we have. And the idea of sharing and caring is very important, and probably that leads to the formation of NGOs in the various sections and various services in the society. So we are all grateful to each one of you, each NGO for having consented to come, and most of you I find are sitting here, so thank you from my behalf to each one of you. As Mrs. Soin has already told you, we have tried to include most of the NGOs in this list, and I happen to know that once when we made an effort through Jago to have a confrontation of the NGOs, we found there were more than hundreds of NGOs in Ludhiana, but as is the theme, there should be no overlapping and no gaps to be bridged. So that is the idea, and of course there is overlapping and there are bridges too, gaps too, which we like to bridge. So, but we have been able to just connect some of you, which will be presenting here on this slideshow. And I start with the first one. The first on the list is Zindagi Life Foundation. This is being run by Yogesh Gupta and Sachin Kapoor. Please, the contact numbers are on the screen. Any one of you is keen to note down the address, ID, email ID, or the contact number, please note down if you are interested in any particular NGO which is being flashed on the screen. Zindagi Life Foundation is being managed by, and if the persons being named or representing that NGO are present here, I request him or her to please stand up so that others can see you and can relate you to this NGO. Yogesh Gupta and Sachin Kapoor and their friends are running this show, and they are into the collecting blood from the blood donation for the thalassemia patients, and they take care of not only the blood part but the blood transfusion and other medicines and their treatment with the practice and all that. That is Zindagi Life Foundation. The next on the list is Bharat Vikas Patient. This society is being run by Dr. Jaswant Rai Kaushal and his team. They are into their team of dedicated people. They are trying to, they're working in the fields of human endeavor for promoting sense of patriotism, national unity and integrity among the elite and the intellectuals to serve the weaker sections of the society in all possible ways. Dr. Kaushal and his team. Those is the next NGO on the list. Dr. Deepak Bansal and Dr. Gini Gupta are running this show, and they are trying to protect they are trying to oppose the female feticide. They are opposing the doctors who go in for the sex termination of pregnancies. This is those of women and the girl child especially. The next on the list is Maharaja Agarsen Sevashram. Their focus area is they are trying to save water in all possible ways. They try to create public awareness, which is very important. Each one of us should really work for the saving of water and not wastage of this very important part of our life. Mr. R.P. Gupta and his team, they are running this Sevashram. Avni and Spitwaki, they take care of the finer senses of the human being. They are into the classical music, the other forms of the art. They run the concerts and the workshops. So we have had this big package is more than 35 years old, and Avni is recently formed by Randhir Kanwal in the city of Randhir Kanwal is here. Mr. Ranjot Singh happens to be the president of the Speak Mackay Ludhiana chapter, and I'm sure most of you must have seen some of the programs organized by the Speak Mackay, and Atul Tarwar happens to be the secretary of this chapter. The next on the list is Arpita. Dr. Praveen Sokti, Mrs. Komal Agarwal, Mrs. Rama Manjal. They are working for the cancer-affected children, which is a very, very noble cause. My salutes to the team. Nishkam Seva Ashram is being run by Mr. Sharwan Kumar. Is he here, Mr. Sharwan Kumar? And his team. You have to see this man working and his passion. He is not an individual, he is an institution. How much social service is imparting in the town for the last so many years. If you just go to any part of his service, you will be surprised and pleased to meet this gentleman. He is not around, I suppose, Mr. Sharwan Kumar. He looks into the mentally retarded children for the welfare, and the street children, poor girls, widows, and he's running an old age home also, and they take care of the abandoned children, small kids and children, infants like that, and for their adoption, etc. Mr. Sharwan Kumar, I wish he was here and you should have seen that gentleman. Guru Gobind Singh Study Circle, beside other things, is running a de-addiction center which is being managed by Dr. Pushpinder Singh for the last many, many years. Nirdosh School for the Mentally Challenged Children is being managed by Mrs. Manjula Jain and Mrs. Poonam Bindra along with their other friends. They take care of those special children. Please thank you so much for being present. And try to make them self-dependent, and they take care of the rehabilitation of these children into the mainstream. Goonj is another NGO which I also learned very recently about it. They collect old clothes from the people and they send it to the far-off places, the border areas and the far east areas, to the tribal people, where the girls and the ladies do not have enough clothes to cover themselves on the daily basis. And when I learned about it, I was shocked beyond imagination that this can happen. So they collect old clothes and then they send them to those places, and for the girls who do not keep them covered all along. So Mr. Manit Dewan is taking care of the Ludhiana chapter, while Baljeet Kaur is in charge of the Jalandhar chapter. We all can very conveniently contribute to this Goonj organization without spending a penny. You can just keep a bag in your homes and put in the extra things which you do not use. I'm sure you can fill one bag, every one, all of you. And then you have the contact number of the local representatives and can pass on these things to them, which can be very well utilized rather than just throwing them like this and that. Next on the list is Jan Gyan Vigyan Jatha. I happened to meet Arun Mitra about 20-25 years back when it was just started. Thank you, Dr. Mitra, and Major Honor. And I said, what is this Jatha called? But then this is not a Jatha in the ordinary sense. They have a scientific aptitude, and they are trying to teach people, especially the student community, about everything that science demands. Like they take care of the environment, for the promotion of health, awareness of programs on drugs, like paddy burning, pollution, environment, and they give counseling to the students in the institutions, especially the rural areas. This is a very, very good cause, and they take care of they talk about pesticides and their misuse, and then they speak against the nuclear weapons a lot through another NGO, but then they are doing a very, very good job. Ashirwad happens to be next on the list. Neelam Sodhi, Dr. Neelam Sodhi is taking care of the mentally retarded, the special children, and she works for the early identification of these children, and then they provide ways for the rehabilitation, and they are trying to create awareness in the society so that they treat these children with proper and the due respect and the love and the affection that they deserve. And they are also educating the rights of such people in the society so that people should know that these children or these people too have their rights. Dr. Neelam Sodhi is here, she is probably not. RPS roots. Dr. Amandeep Bans is very concerned about Dr. Amandeep Bans. Thank you, Dr. Bans, for being present. And he's Panjpani is the name. He says Save River Satluj, and he's trying to involve the children. That's probably the best way to start an mission. You start with the school children and they pick up these things sooner and they grasp things better. And saving water and environment, and he's also into the tree plantation. Dr. Amandeep Pans, a young chap doing a very big cause. Safe Drive and Stay Alive is the name of the next NGO. Mr. Naval Kaura is taking care of this thing, and he's trying to create awareness about the road safety, especially about with the students, so that they learn it while they are in the schools. Is Naval Kaura here? No, he's not probably. The next is Jago. Jago is keenly and passionately working into the health and education of the weaker section of the society. They are running schools in the slum areas, in the very far-off places, small schools given in a room or in a shed provided by the public. And they are also running skill centers for the girls of the area, slum areas especially. 21 skill centers are being run these days. And those girls are made self-sufficient after they learn the work in those skill centers. Neelam Kapoor leads a team of enthusiastic volunteers. There is Neelam Kapoor. Bharat Vikas Parishad Charitable Trust Punjab. They are working to provide the artificial limbs, calipers and hearing aids to the people who need them. They also provide polio corrective surgery, and they are running polyclinic and rehabilitation of handicapped persons along with from the directions of the Bharat Vikas Parishad. Mr. Pankaj Jindal, I met him, he's there. They are running this show and doing a wonderful job. Next is Sarab Kalyan Mission. Mr. Dharamveer Singh is along with his friends and team of passionate people with him. They are into creating awareness about HIV, drug addiction, and they have the blood donation camps and the old camps for all these things. Mr. Dharamveer Singh and his team, if anyone of them is here, from Sarab Kalyan Mission. I'm sure each one of you must have heard of Islam Zindagi because they hold blood donation camps very often and it is in the papers. Is anybody from the Islam Zindagi present here? They arrange blood donation camps for the thalassemia patients, and the number of units collected each time, if you read in the papers, you'll be surprised how often do they collect it and how much do they collect it and provide it to those unfortunate children, which is needed in great quantity. It's a commendable service to these people affected with this disease, these children. Asim Joshi, along with other people, especially I know Manjeet Sani is into this and they are working in this organization. Guru Angad Dev Educational and welfare council next on the list. Mr. Sukhdev Singh, yes, there he is. They are working for the education of the children from the weakest sections of the society, and if I am not mistaken, I met you, Mr. Sukhdev Singh, you are more into the rural areas and the people who are really very weak financially, and they assist them a very good job, Mr. Sukhdev Singh. Agaz Charitable Foundation is being run by Gurmeet Grewal and Preeti Kansal. They involve they are the two ladies and doing a commendable job. They involve the rural women into the things that they make them do embroidery and eco-friendly papers, and they just train them and then they make them do things and then they sell their things and they make them self-sufficient and important in their own way, in their families and their lives, and that's a very, very good service to the women folk, Manmeet and Preeti. Ek Prayas is another school, Mrs. Samira Bector. Am I looking at the right person? Right. Mrs. Samira Bector is running this school for the mentally retarded. So we have a number of schools in the city, and Mrs. Samira Bector happens to be the in charge of this school along with her other friends. Mahasabha Ludhiana, like Jatha, this is Sabha. But this Sabha is doing a very very strange type of work. The people who are ignorant about the legal steps, the people in the villages, the lands are being grabbed and cycles happen. So providing them legal advice and support is a work that this Mahasabha is doing, and the person leading this noble and very, very dear and very important cause, it has made a difference in the lives of so many people, and in the areas also where the public land was being grabbed by the people, and so you know what is all happening. And Colonel Jagdish Singh Broad is the person who is running this show in a very, very nice way. There are people who drag him down, but he stands up again and fights and fights. He's a great fighter, not only in the forces, but here also in town. Vocational Rehabilitation Training Center in Hebawal. We have Mrs. Johnson here. I met her along with the I know her and her family, and I know Dr. Johnson also since ages. This is an institute taking care of the blind children, but they work with so much of passion. It is, you have to believe it, you will have to see it and see them treating those children who are visually handicapped with how much passion and love and affection they take care of them. Not only Dr. Johnson and Mrs. Johnson, but I see good day, because there were blind girls coming to our college when I was in the college from this institute, but the care they were taking for each child, each girl coming to our college was something to be seen, to believe. I salute this team of the people working in this institute. Ekjot Welfare Society, they are running a school for the handicapped children. Mrs. Vankoor is the one who is running the show. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Mrs. Vankoor. Rotary International, we all know they do lots of social work. I did meet Mr. Karkara and his team, other people from Rotary. There are so many people from the Rotary present here, and they do lots of social service. They provide health and medical facilities to the here. They give grants to them for the education of the deserving poor children, and they take care of the senior citizens too. And they are taught many social works at the Rotarians too. So we have Mr. Karkar, Mr. Chaudhary, Dr. Pansing here to see, but I see Mr. Chaudhary and Mr. Karkar from the Rotary here. Then we have Lotus. This is Gift of Life, Organ Donation Awareness Society. This organization is trying to create awareness among masses that how important it is to be able to donate the organs. We need not carry our organs when we go up or wherever after we leave this world. There are some organs that can be given after the death. There are some organs which can be given in case of the brain death. There are different aspects of this law and this organization which we try, I say because I also happen to be part of this team, which we are trying to organize in the schools and the colleges, and we tell people what organ donation is, who can donate the organs, when can it be donated, and where can it be donated, and how useful it is to the society and the people who need them. Dr. Oleg was here, he just left. So he is an extremely busy man. He is from the BMC, head of the department of the kidney transplant, but he did take out time to be here. He is the one, along with the people. Manjula Jain is secretary of this organization, and this is Lotus. Next is All India Working Women's Home, Ludhiana chapter. Dr. Larjit Kaur is the one, around there she is, Dr. Larjit Kaur. Their focus areas are, they deal with the problems being faced by women in their workplace, and there are gender issues, and they are discriminated against, so they go and contact those women who need it, and they help them in all things. And this is the work they do. Then Seva Party is the next one. They are working in the areas running educational institutions in the backward areas. Mr. Somnath Gupta and his team, no, I don't see him here, they are working in the backward areas for the education of the downtrodden people. Darpan is the next NGO in the list. And this is being run by the trust in the name of Shrimati Shashi Ahuja Charitable Trust. Rahul Ahuja is running this show. They take care of the autistic children, educating them and making them self-sufficient so that they can lead a respectable life. This trust is being run by, this Anju is being run by the trust, and Rahul Ahuja is there. They are taking care of this thing. So, very noble work they are doing. Santushti Vidya Mandir is being run by Dr. Kamlesh Manocha, and they try to collect the rag pickers and the children of the beggars, and they try to take them to the school and teach them. I have heard many people, especially in the villages also, it is very difficult to bring the children to the school because either the parents take them away to earth or they themselves run away. So Dr. Kamlesh Manocha met me once and narrated how they try to bring those children for their education and try to make a difference in their life, because education is one thing which makes a real difference in the life. So Dr. Manocha, I don't see her here. Senior Citizens Council of Ludhiana, their focus area is to take care of the elderly persons if they are late and facing any problems. They take care of that and they discuss it and they support their specific needs. Mr. Stinder Mahajan, along with his team, is the one who is taking care of these senior citizens in this forum. No, he is not around. Vivekanand Swarag Ashram Trust is running a senior citizen home where not many senior citizens are staying. It is situated in Model Town Extension. Mr. Anil Bharti and his team are the people taking care of this one. Then Chinamay mission is being looked after by Mr. K.K. Dheer, and they look into the education, health and other social area problems of the weaker sections of the society, Mr. K.K. Dheer. Entrepreneurship Training and Rural Development Initiative is being run by Mr. Balwinder Singh and his friends. They see, especially in the rural areas, they try to see that their entrepreneurship skills are enhanced and they improve their lifestyles and their means and their finances. Mr. Balwinder Singh is around, and they are keen on the rural area development and they try to teach those people in the rural area. The next is Inner Wheel. This is also part of the Rotary, and they look into the senior citizen welfare. They are taking care of deaf and dumb school children and the education of the weakest section of the society, especially the girl child, and they are also into saving the girl child, that is the female feticide. Thank you, thank you so much. I remember one of my teacher madams in Canada who was taking care of the